May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all of our hearts be pleasing unto you, O Lord. You may be seated. I spend a lot of time sitting in that chair over there where Father Cook is sitting tonight, twice each Sunday, and it gives me a perfect view of the stained glass window that is right behind me right now. In it, the three little sheep, with the hand grasping the staff, with the cross looming. To me, that represents this moment in Maundy Thursday. The Gospel of John tonight is the only one of the four canonical Gospels that tells the story of this evening in the Christian calendar a little bit differently. In all of the synoptic Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, Jesus asks the 12 to keep watch and pray with him for just a bit of time, to stay awake with him, even if it's just for an hour. Despite Jesus knowing what was coming, even though he knew his end was near, as much as he was asking the disciples to keep watch with him, he was also keeping watch over them, which is very human of him. See, every good parent worries about their kids before themselves. I can't imagine if I knew I had just one last night with my little pet menagerie. I might try to keep them up too, just so we could all keep being together consciously. But I do know one thing: I wouldn't be able to sleep. I would want to be with my little babies for each precious moment that was left, and that's what Jesus does in the other Gospels on this night. He is still in his own time of need, keeping watch over his flock, though they aren't able to do the same for him. This is a wonderful example of Jesus being so relatable as a human and yet so divine at the same time. And it brings me back to this stained glass window. I see a true presence of the shepherd watching over his flock with great power swirling around the impending cross, Jesus' impending sacrifice. Our eye is drawn to the cross, the symbol of the sacrifice and the moments before the abject horror of what is to come, with the three little lambs calmly sitting, maybe even sleeping, in complete peace below. This night is uncomfortable. It's a place of deep sadness. It's a time in which we can only sit with Jesus and be present despite our dread of knowing what is ahead. Lord Rowan Williams, the former Archbishop of Canterbury and possibly the world's leading Anglican theologian, writes about the unbearable present. He points that we, as humanity, tend to try to escape the pain of the future, of the present moment, through thoughts of the past or the future. But Maundy Thursday forces us to be in the comfortable in between. For those of you who have waited by the bedside of a loved one, waiting for them to pass, this might feel similar to that experience. In the Gospel of John, which is tonight's Gospel, Jesus asks something different of his flock. Well, he doesn't really ask, right? He tells. He gives us what is known as the new commandment: love one another just as I have loved you. The commandment is given during the Last Supper, right in the middle of it. Just imagine the scene. They have begun their meal. Jesus has given the very first communion of the bread and wine. They are eating. And all of a sudden, in the middle of this, his final meal, his Last Supper, he stands up. But it's not to make a speech or prophesize. He interrupts his own last meal and, shockingly, to all present, insists on washing the feet of his disciples, despite their objections. We see Jesus take action, that he tells them how to emulate. He wants them to follow. He tells them how to mimic it. He tells them what to do, because he is preparing the disciples for how to act when he is no longer embodied on this earth. This is his last lesson that he has full control over. He doesn't have control over what happens next. He doesn't have control over the authorities taking him or what happens to his body. But in this moment, in this unbearable present, he has control. He teaches that showing each other love is in us doing for each other. That's why he commands us to treat each other well. In fact, do you know what Maundy means? Maundy Thursday? Maundy comes from the Latin word mandatum, which means to command or to mandate. Maybe in our minds we can start thinking of Maundy Thursday as Mandate Thursday, because Jesus mandated us to do acts of love for one another. If we think of the Easter season as a time of new birth and new life, this Mandate Thursday means we're about to get off to a really good start because we're just going to wash each other's feet in a few minutes, right? Just like Jesus showed us to do. Going back to Lord Williams, he writes about this too. He talks specifically that the washing of feet allows us to all act with humility in service of others. Now, this can sometimes be uncomfortable, given the relationships between people because of the hierarchies in society and the dynamics between all of us. Williams talks about Peter's obvious discomfort with Jesus washing his feet because this is a role reversal. The teacher is now being served by the student, and that is uncomfortable and unfamiliar for Peter in this moment. We learn about God through the people we serve, because we encounter God in the specific material events of life. Good service is the great equalizer. Last year when we washed feet, I got kind of emotional because what happened wasn't only foot washing. Friends began to hug, smiles were exchanged, and at the end, because of the way the line happened to turn out, the youngest member of our congregation who was present washed Father Groff's feet. It felt like the passing of a baton. It was a teacher, again, receiving service from a student, a profound moment of happenstance that so mirrors the story of our gospel today. Many people were struck with that moment, and there were lots of smiles through tears shared. It is in our service that we receive. We are all a part of the same community of God's children, and we are all equal. Jesus wanted to leave us with the idea that the people we serve through good works are not objects of charity. Instead, they are our teachers. And here at Good Shepherd, we see so much of this wonderful exchange where people, young and old, from many walks of life, originally from many other places around this country and world, get together for service projects that don't only help people, but they also seem to fill the hearts of those who participate. Just look at the recent food packing event for the Haiti Drive, or our ongoing food bank, or our special food drive that we've talked so much about. The reason we keep going back to these moments isn't to pat ourselves on the back. It's because these moments, as William calls them, these specific material events of life, they make the unbearable present worthwhile. They give us meaning, purpose, joy. They give us love. Because when we give, we receive. As Jesus tells us, if you know these things, you are blessed when you do them. Amen.